I don't know, man. I don't know, Bear. I don't know what happened. YouTube doesn't like me. Yeah. Everything just went dark. How are you doing, Bear? You doing okay? Cool. Has the church attendance been affected by the COVID, or has it like? Do you see less people in church now, or is it basically the same? I know. It's sad. We have seen a decline also over here. Or there are, well, I guess less people are coming to church. Um, and no matter what you think, that whatever happens in American politics doesn't really affect us. Actually, it does. Uh, we get we get guys over here that I don't know that would say stuff like incredible stuff like Trump has been sent by God, and all that. So, and these are coming from pastors, and I guess we some of the churches are heavily swayed by what goes on with American politics. And you're right, American politics has somehow gotten into the mix with religion, with the Christian community. So I think it should not be that way, because the Bible has taught us so much, that we shouldn't let the ways of the world get into the church. The church is there for one purpose, and that is to worship our Lord God, and that's about it, and not dabble in politics and to right wing or left wing for the matter. I think it should not be that way. God is love, and it always is. So now I'm paranoid whether you guys are still with me. Just constantly let me know that you guys are with me. All right? Are you guys with me right now, or have you guys just did a disappearing act on me again? Tell me you're with me. It's a whole lot of electron. Okay, good. I'm paranoid right now. I think there must be indication as to whether am I lagging or whether my connection is off. Okay, what I need to do is look at the other screen. That'll be okay. All right. Right. So this is the new Enya. Well, not really new. I mean, this has been around, but I thought it was interesting. Yeah. I'm probably gonna review this. Let me know a little bit more about what the app can do. It's pretty good. Noise gate on my mic? No, I don't think so. I don't have a noise. Why does it sound like I have a noise gate? Let me see. Let me see. Do I have a noise gate? Oh, I do actually. Is it cutting off? Really bad? Okay, I'm gonna like release it a little bit more. Is this better now? It's actually a very nice sounding guitar when you're playing it live. Kind of warm. I don't know what woods they are using, so I need to get the specs from Miss Jeanette. Okay. Oh, that bad, huh? Is it better now? I can't seem to tell the difference. Maybe I'll just... I don't know. Should I just bypass the damn thing altogether? Okay, I'm gonna take out the gate altogether. Hold this better. Alright. Is this better? Okay. Hey, Arian. You're back.
Charging.
So how you guys doing, actually? And how much of a reduction of attendance are in the church, Bear? Is there a whole lot, or just you just see certain people not coming back again? Now, does it go out? This is like not really happening. It just kills off the joy of doing a live stream when all these technical problems start popping out. Last time I was in, it was the camera that got cut off, and now it's I got canceled out halfway. You guys couldn't hear me, nothing. So now, can you hear me, guys, or am I still cutting out in the middle? Or is it just you, Bear? Orion and Logify, do you hear me okay, or am I cutting in and out? Ah. So it's you, Bear. Okay. What's this? Huh? Not here? Scooter texts me and says that, oh, what happened, you know? So I'm saying I'm back, but he says it's not here. I don't know what he means. Anyway. Okay. Got a couple of new it says it keeps looping to the start, the feed. I think there's something wrong with YouTube. Are you guys like having any problem like logging in? Oh, he's in? Is he in? Oh, he's in. Okay. I was just texting you, Scooter. Right, so I got three effects. Oh, there's three. There's one really interesting. And it's a US made oh well, this is an overdrive, I think. This is from, it says here, hand built in Nashville, Tennessee. So this is the Warrior effect. See that? So it's a US made pedal. I like the packing though. Interesting pedal. So it's a drive pedal with two bands of EQ. Very simple. A band of I guess a level knob, a drive knob, and a bass and a treble switch, treble knob. And there's a switch. I think it switches from vintage to modern or something like that. I don't know. Let's read the instruction manual. There's an instruction manual. No, manual. Interesting. So there's no instruction manual, so I have to go and figure this out. Not cheap though. This pedal is not very cheap. It's about 299 Singapore. But 200, 200 US or 190, I think. Try this one day. Maybe next week. Next week I'll give it a go. The other one is a MOSFET. No, Jodix, nothing is alright this evening. It's like a nightmare. I got cut off from my last live stream, so this is the second stream for tonight. Yep, I don't know what's happening. I'm suspecting that this is from the YouTube side. Somehow my connection here was cut off, but my connection here to the other, like to Facebook or to any other things is okay. Just the stream, it just got cut off. So this is this is an interesting looking pedal. Really well packed. Again, they're using like recycled paper. Whole lot of knobs. I like a lot of knobs. I like tweaking stuff. So this is a overdrive and a boost effect. So it's got drive. Oh, again, 2-band EQ, but this time you have a mid boost, mid adjustment, a mid-range adjustment, and you have a blend between, I guess, the effect level and the clean signal, and then you have the boost level. So you have 2 foot switches, right? So you can actually turn on the overdrive, and then you have a boost function here for you to add into your overdrive, and you can choose between class A or class A and B, bright or normal. I think this is pretty interesting too. It's not the same price as the other one, as the Warrior. Cool. I like effects that are packed with this kind of paper. It reminds me of fish and chips, Yeah. Last time I believe they used to serve fish and chips with newspaper. But I think the ink of the newspaper became a little bit too unhygienic, so they started serving them. I guess sometimes I don't know what they're serving right now in the street vendor in London when you're buying fish and chips. Maybe the ink for the newspaper just gives it this extra zing to it. Alright, so this is from Freeman. I used to pronounce it as Friedman. Okay, someone corrected me. So it's Friedman. And what is this? This is it's a booster pedal. So it's boosum boost. Oh, very interesting choice of color. There's black on the side and it's white face. Black on the side on all sides. Yeah, it's a nice looking color, black and white. So this is basically okay, cool. So you have a 3-band EQ, and you can radically change the sound if you want to. You have a tight knob, so you can, I don't know what the tight knob is for, and you can actually bypass the EQ if you want to and just have it as a straight boost. Interesting. I would see this more of a after effect boost. There are 2 ways to use a booster pedal in case you guys are interested. One is before your amp, or your overdrive unit or whatever you're using, and then the other one is post everything. So you can kind of boost the overall level of whatever has gone through. Like for example, if you were to put this right after everything, after your overdrive, and even on your on the what you call that, effects send and return, you can have this send and return on the effects send and return, and use this as a master volume boost if you want to. So you can just play and be happy with what you're sounding. If you need a solo, if you're doing a solo and you want everything to come out like a couple of dBs, then this is one way to do it. I don't know. This looks very interesting. I'm gonna give this a try. Interesting pedal. Are you guys still with me? Or have I lost you again? I'm so paranoid. See what it says. Okay. The pedal pushes a pure, clean signal to conjure the absolute most of your tone. Turning the boost control is a ticket to volume increase. Pushing the front end for thick harmonic overdrive or balancing two guitars with varying output. So I was right. You can actually use this as a pre-drive boost if you want to, and a post-drive boost if you want to. Alright, okay. Cool. Interesting. Yeah, it says here excellent collection, but I don't trust them anymore. I'm just looking at my replay, see if the pictures are still moving, and they're still moving, then I'm okay. Alright, cool. So it's 3 pedals. And then finally I have this guitar. I haven't reviewed this yet. So remember the Aria Pro guitar Tele that I just reviewed? This is the Strat, but this is not on the same series. This is the Fullerton series. So it's a bit more expensive and it's a bit more heavier. Like a Super Strat configuration. Really nice mirror finish, the black mirror finish. What is this? This is like a Wilkinson tremolo bridge. No lock-in tuners, but the tuners are from Aria. Right? Bone nut, which is actually a bone nut. Single, single, double. No split call for the humbucker. Really nice pick guard. Well, actually it's black all the way, so it's pretty nice. Yeah. For I don't think this is as cheap as the Tele that I reviewed. The Tele I reviewed was like about $216. I forgot, $250. Sing. This is like more, a bit more than that. This is yeah, it's about 700, if I'm not mistaken. Singapore dollars, right? Oh, it has the windmill truss rod adjustment here. Yeah. So I'm going to review this soon, maybe next week, because I'm going to take a little break starting on Thursday, next Thursday, because I have a concert coming up and I need to get the songs down, and then next week I have rehearsals, or the week after that I have rehearsals, and then the show time. So I'll probably be a little bit caught up, but I'll still do some videos now and then. Yeah, it's just I'm gonna take it real slow. And right after that, after the concert, I'm okay for a while, and then I have to prepare for the U.S. trip, and then the band needs to start to rehearse, and then we're off. Yep. What is the difference between noise suppression and noise gate? I'm just gonna try noise suppression. Hopefully it helps. Hey, apparently it does. Oh wow, cool. Wait. Okay. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Is this better? Like you don't hear the air conditioning that much, right? Are the Harley Benton new Telecaster style? Not really. Anything new? I'll probably have a look at it later and see what they have. Hit the like button, guys. I know I lost a couple of them. Yeah, the second stream, but just hit the like button, so you know. Thin line. All right, let's check this out. Harley Benton. Ooh, I saw one here, which is a Hot Rod NT. Is that the one we're talking about with F-hole? Interesting. Okay, I'll ask for this. It looks nice. I like the color of it. Ooh. I'll write email to him. I'll write email to them later after this. Caramelized Canadian maple neck. Just basically it's a roasted maple neck. Ash body with an F-hole. Alright, so it's got the Roswell nickel pickups. Okay. A graphite nut. Interesting. Trevor, what do you think about upgrading low-cost guitar pickups to expensive pickups? I think that if you have a guitar that you enjoy playing, whether it's a cheap guitar or a mid-price guitar, and if you find that the only thing that's lacking are the pickups, then yeah, go for it. I mean, you can improve the playing experience of that guitar that you're so used to. Then why not? You know. Back in the days, I used to upgrade my pickups every now and then. You know, trying to get the ultimate sound. You know, from my Japan contemporary Strat, which I bought in 1985. I don't know how many sets of pickups I went through. You know, it came with the stock, and then later on I had it changed to this what you call that, the humbucker in a single coil stack. We call it a stack, right? From Seymour Duncan's and also from DiMarzio's. I got the DiMarzio's one first, only for the bridge humbucker because I kind of like the stock single coils. And then I swapped everything again out to Seymour Duncan's, and then to some other pickup selection. And right before I stopped working at night, before I gave up the club circuit, and when I became a studio engineer and a session player, I swapped everything to EMGs, all single coil EMGs, and I had that for a couple of years because I kind of like the way it sounds. And that Strat sound really good with EMG pickups. I don't know why, but it just sounds really good. And after that, it was dormant in this room for many years. It was gathering cobwebs and dust because I primarily used that guitar just as a MIDI guitar, you know. So I used to have a Roland guitar synthesizers, and I used to use it with it. And after a while, you know, I got better in keyboard playing, so I stopped using the guitar altogether. It was like in one corner. Decided to put it under my bed for a couple of years, and then decided to take it off again because I chanced upon it while I was clearing the bed, and it still looked good to me. Although it's like really worn out, weathered. You know, it's naturally relic. I decided to take it out and pass it to Wayne, back in the year 2020, if I'm not mistaken, or 2010, about 2011, and I gave it to Wayne for a fret. Did I change the frets? I don't think I changed the frets. No, I changed the nut, if I'm not mistaken, and the whole tremolo system to a Wilkinson. And then the pickups, he got some pickups from I don't know where, and he was like configuring up all sorts of configuration. Like, you know, I have like 13 ways to get tones in that guitar itself, which is a little bit mind-boggling because there's a whole lot of deep switches here and there. And after a year of playing with it, I decided no, I didn't like the way the guitar sounds. So I decided to hook on what's that called? This pickup set from EMG's. Oh man, I forgot his name again. The country western guy. What's his name? Anyway, I got this whole set, right? So it's with me right now. It's still with me. So I had it fixed down, and it sounded great. And then it's with the SPC control. So ultimately, that is what I wanted. You know, the guy who just joined the Eagles. What's his name again? Someone help me out here. Vince Gill, right? Vince Gill. So I got a Vince Gill set, and it worked for me until today. So I think yes, you should think about upgrading your guitar pickups if you're really comfortable in what you're playing. Yeah. Yes, David. There's a whole lot of lag. You know, a full 20 seconds, I guess, a 20 seconds lag, right? Any more questions? This reminds me of the old, you know, they used to have this toy when I was young, and it's like, you know, it's made of wood, and you just go spin around. There's a whole lot of noise coming, you know. So yeah, this reminds me of that. It's a bit bulky, but I don't mind it. I think it's a really good tool. I'm gonna put it right here so I can use this. Oh yeah, and City Music gave me some Martin t-shirts, which is really cool of them. So nice of them. And I also got a nice Langley t-shirt from Miss Jeanette. Yeah. She's so good to me. Yeah. They're all so good to me, and I'm really appreciative of them. So supportive, so encouraging. Okay, let's try and give this a whirl. Hear how this guitar sounds like. It's heavy though. Okay. Where's the new tuner? Woo! Thank you, Richard. I know you love me. Oh no, this is the one that didn't work. All right, so let's try my big ass screen tuner. Ah, I forgot to bring up the tremolo system. Tremolo on. Yeah, the bridge is floated. So something that I want to share with you guys that I share with my students is that when you have your guitar in the room for a while and you're not playing it, now you know the strings are made of metal, so these are all nickel or stainless steel or whatever you're using, right? So What happens is that when you're not playing it, if the room is kind of cold, especially where you come from, or hot or whatever matter, depending on the temperature in the room, it either they expand or they contract. So in my case, I have the air conditioning on. So if I leave my guitar in a room, it gets cold, so it contracts. And the thing is that when you tune this, right, and it seems to be in tune, but once you start playing your guitar and your hands are all over your strings on the fretboard, then you have heat generated and it starts to expand. And then you tune again, it's flat. So it gets a bit frustrating, at first, because I have to juggle with my tremolo system. Sometimes I would think that it's because of my tremolo system, like the nut is catching or whatever it is. And then after I play, after a while, like 5 minutes, everything starts to go flat again. I tune it up again. And then if I stop for a while and leave the guitar for a while in the side, and then it gets cold again, and then it gets sharp again. So I have to it's a never-ending hassle. So something to take note of. So when you're starting to play, for example, in a gig, what I do is before I tune out, I would do this, even in the backstage, in the back room, and people look at me weird, like, what the heck am I doing? But I'm just warming up the strings so that, when I go on stage, I'll start to tune, and then it'll be okay. So it stays more in tune. If I were to bring up, or not bring out the guitar at all and leave it on stage, chances are I would tune it, and then when I start playing it on the first song, 60 seconds, 20 seconds down, the guitar is out of tune because it will go flat, and then I have to retune again. And that is something that I don't really want to happen. So what I do these days is that when I go on stage, I'll start doing this and generate a whole lot of heat, with my cloth or with my bare hands if I need to, and then I start tuning up. Yeah, so something that you guys should note. Preheat, yes. Hi, Pooh. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't look good if you're talking to a girl and then you're doing this. It's like you should think, dude, what's wrong with you? I'm just heating up my guitar neck. Anyway, so there it is. Ooh, that's from the humbucker. Nice. Ooh. Okay, turn on the air conditioning. Get me pick up. Okay, so this is a bridge pickup. See what I tell you? It's flat now. This is strung with 09, so somehow these guitars will be coming to my place in 09s. I wish they were 010s. String stretching. that's the fifth position. This is the fourth position. Third position. It's an Aria Pro, Joe. Aria Pro. This is from the Fullerton series. So this is like a super strat, single humbucker. Okay, second position, my favorite. I don't like 09s. That's it. I said it. It's just so hard to tune, especially on the Strat, especially on the 20. Well, regardless of the fact that whether it's a 25-inch scale length or a 25, I just don't like 09s anymore. Especially the G string is so hard to get in tune. Remember what I told you? Contracting and expanding. Okay, last one. First pickup, the humbucker. Nice. I like the humbucker. It's a bit loud, so my neighbor is going to kill me. Okay, that's enough playing for tonight. Nice. I have half a mind to change this whole thing to a 10s, or either that or I have to get this really acclimatized. I don't understand why Aria Pro will have 2 string tree instead of 1. one string tree is one string tree too much for me, in my opinion. But to have two, I've seen some Harley Bentons that came in with twos, you know, and I don't really think those are my favorites. But it is what it is. So chances are, if I do own this guitar, I would take out probably the lower one, the lower string tree. And if I really like this guitar a lot, I would change this to a staggered lock-in tuners and get rid of all the string trees. And you'll find that the tuning would be more stable. But 09s, man, 09s. Ooh, I'm sorry. I'm sure some of you guys are playing 09s. I'm not knocking you guys down, but you know, I just don't like 09s. And it's heavy. It's not light. Let's check out how heavy this is. Where's my yo? What happened to my wing gizmo? Okay, things starts to go weird now. Things starts disappearing on me. Have you guys ever had an experience where things just go disappearing in front of you and like you don't know where the heck it is? Okay, I found it. I have it happen to me so many times. Alright, so how heavy is this? Alright. Okay. Is it that? I don't think so. Alright. It's 3.64 kg. It's not that heavy, but it feels like it's heavy. It's a heft to it. 3.64. Joe McCarthy. I really stretch my strings out when I do my setup. If any problems of that, I look for issues with the guitar tuning. Yeah, I know. I do that too. Problem is that sometimes the strings these days are a little bit not the same as the strings of old. I find that I tend to break a lot of tens when I'm stretching them. I don't know. It could be the strings itself, the way they wind it these days, or I don't know. So I tend to be really careful when it comes to the first string, to 010s. I try not to stretch them too forcefully. But yeah, I my own guitars, I would stretch them to the limit. But 09s, I'm so afraid of breaking them, so I tend to be a little bit too gentle, But when it comes to the low string, I have no qualms, especially on the higher strings. No, I have not tried a Hendrix string set. It'd be interesting, though. Oh well, we'll see. Maybe I'll try that on my new guitar. Yes, I think I'm having a new guitar. It's coming soon. So I'll keep you guys posted. Not 1046, yeah. Those are my. I think those are my. I don't even know what's my gauge because I just play them. I have various gauge, I guess. Let's see now. These are the strings I often use. I like the stay in tune ones. The stay in tune ones are really nice. These are 46 10s to 46, just like yours, Joe. And then the DL0 ones are my workhorse. Basically, these are the ones that I will take on tour when I change a lot of strings after each and every show. So this is like what? This is also 10 to 46. And then I got me a box of GHS last time. still using them, but it's yeah. I only left like 2 more packs, and these are like what are these? No indication whatsoever. Oh, 1046. So basically, I'm just using 10-46. I used to use at one time I was using 10s to 42, if I'm not mistaken, but I just find it it's just a bit too light on the lower ends. So 1046 is just nice. It'd be interesting to have a 10 to 50 or 10 to 48. 1048, yeah, 1048 would be quite nice, quite interesting. You know that you can actually customize your string gauge if you want to. There's this company that does that. I have it somewhere here. Yeah, there you go. Strings by Mail. So the reason why I went there was because I wanted to do a custom gauge for my lap steel, my Duesenberg, and I like this guy Troy Bermeyer, and he has his own custom set. So I wanted to get his set, and they're like very different sets from the basic lap steel in D tuning, in D open tuning. So I decided to procure 2 or 3 sets from them. So you can actually like customize your Hendrix set if you want to, or any custom set, and they'll do it for you, and you can actually name it under your name, so that you can always reorder them, if you choose to. And people can reorder if they like your set, they go, oh, okay, I'm gonna get the John Cole set, which is like kind of weird, like 11s and then 13s and whatever, so you know what I mean. Interesting. Oh, nice, Joe. I like the concept. Yeah, I was thinking about that too, having 11s on my Les Paul, even 11s on my PRS 245. Yeah, so I thought of having like 11s on them, and that will give you a different sound. You'll play more like a 10s on a 25.5 scale lines. Yeah, interesting. Okay, 1046 on the Les Paul. Okay. I have 1046 on my Les Paul too. So I don't know. Things are kind of picking up. In case you don't know what is happening over this part of the world. Oh, David Belcher. Yeah, he's a great guy. Yeah, he teaches really well. So he kind of inspired me to get that Duesenberg, and I can't play as well as him. If I can play 1/4 just as well as him, I'll be so happy. But yeah, he's a great inspiration, and I just like the way the lap steel sound. Right. Anyway, to recap, I met up with a couple of Taiwanese friends who actually came down here for a concert. And they actually did a tour in a 10 days tour in the States. Or was it 2 weeks tour in the States before coming down here and then going back to Taiwan where they come from. So I was having lunch with one of them, and we got to talking about how life is like for us over here in Asia, especially in Taiwan and in Singapore, as well as in China, Hong Kong. In case you guys haven't caught up the latest news, Hong Kong is thinking of opening up their borders, like no more quarantine, no more compulsory quarantine period, starting from the mid of October. If that's why I got it. That's why I got correct, because I have this on the news clippings that we have. Show it to y'all. So I guess so in Hong Kong, travelers will not need to quarantine from this coming Monday. All right, so this is in the news. And then you have the other one that states that basically you come next month, I think next month, October, yeah. Taiwan is going to do the same. So there's no compulsory quarantine period. So I think that's great to boost up tourism in the countries, in these respective countries. In Singapore, we have opened up for quite a while now, being about 2 months, 3 months more or less. So the club scene in Singapore is really quite vibrant. There are, most of the joints are all packed. There are fights and everything because people get cooped up for too long. They get all angst. So there are a lot of fights and bar brawls and stuff like that. But yeah, the club scene is thriving. I mean, the bands are working, and so that's great. Great news for them. I don't play in clubs in Singapore. I don't have a foothold on the club scene in Singapore, and I don't want to have a foothold on the club scene in Singapore because it gets a bit too tedious for me at my age. And I given that up, a long time ago when I hit 40. So was that 40? Yeah. So I would do concerts if I have to. And I want to like tour and play in other places, especially like in China or in Taiwan or in the States or whatever. So the scene, the local club scene, is not my hunting area, right? So, but I'm glad that the local musicians have found work. So that's a good thing. It's a blessing. Now I'm looking at China, who is closed for 2 years plus. So they have no concerts whatsoever. Whatever concerts they have are all like kind of small compared to last time when they had like big concerts of 65,000 people. Now it's kind of small scale and far in between. And because they're pursuing their no COVID cases policy, they kind of shut down everything. So no foreign acts are allowed to go in, and basically what they're depending on is their own local acts if there's any concert to begin with. So me and my friend was talking about this, and we were like reminiscing of how we used to tour China for months on end, sometimes years on end, non-stop, because there'll be so many states in China to play, and how things going to be very different after if they choose to open up the country again. Because I think by the time China gets to open up its doors, I think they would be very self-reliant on their own talents, on their own bands. So probably they won't need foreign players like us anymore, because they may think that their own players are good enough. But I think there'll be a couple of acts, especially foreign acts that are going in, like for example from Taiwan or from Hong Kong, that might still need our services because they still look up to us as the top players. So we might still go in there and play. But I think things are about to change for us in the coming future. So I guess I don't know. I'm going like etc. because whatever will be. I just leave it to God. If God decided that I should start working and stop touring, so be it. And I'll just look to God and ask Him. And I'll ask you like what's next for me? Where should I go? What should I do? What sort of other ventures should I go? Not in business sense, but in terms of what should I do to occupy my time? And I'm telling you, at this age of I'm still 61. I'm not 62 yet. Come October, I'll be 62. But it's ripe old age of 61. I get a little bit apprehensive about not having things to do. And sometimes I would feel that like I've been doing all these videos for like a couple of years now, about 3 years, and I love doing them. Don't get me wrong, I love doing them because it keeps my chop up, and I get to play music. I get to help people, in making the decision in purchasing any guitars. But I guess for me, I find this YouTube channel as a outlet for me to kind of reach out to people. And I think God put people in front of me so that I can reach out. And I reach out to a couple of you guys actually, individually. But I mean, if what I'm trying to say is that if these places are all kind of like shut down for me, and I've past my time, so to say, and I'm not going to play any more music live. Yeah, I dread to think about it because I love playing live. I love to be on stage. I I love to be on stage and play music. I really love that. It's what I've been doing since I was in my 20s, you know. And for me, it's going to be a change of mindset, you know. And like I said before, I dread to think that one day I will wake up and I find that I have nothing to do. You know, that is like, whoa, so scary to me. I got to find something to do. So I need to do a little bit of soul searching with God and have a conversation with Him, maybe a couple of conversations with Him to find out what's happening and how should I go about doing. I mean, this whole thing comes from conversations with God, like, you know, this YouTube channel, because I've asked God as to what I should do and what sort of content and how should I go about it. So yeah, I think I have to have another conversations or another series of conversations with God to plan for my future. All right. Thank you, Joe. I don't consider myself a youngster. I'm looking at these cats right now playing in the clubs. They're like in the 20s, in the 28, you know, in the mid 30s, and I look at them and I'm going like, you know, there are two parts of me. Like, you know, one part of me is like looking at them and I'm so envious because of their youth, and then the other part of me is like, dude, you know, you should have been there in the golden age, like we were. Some of us, we were in the golden age. You know, we were there when Led Zeppelin was like the top of their game. You know, we were there when Rolling Stones were kicking asses, and we were there when top musicians, you know, in the studios, and studios were flourishing, and we are hearing new, exciting songs and sounds. You know, back then in the 80s and the 90s. Yeah, so you know, it's a mixed emotion, but I'm glad that the young ones have picked up, you know, music, because it's very few of them. You know, there used to be a whole lot of musicians. Now I don't think there's a whole lot. I don't know about where you come from. I don't know about where you're coming from, whether you're in the States or in Europe. I'm sure there are many youths who have taken an interest, a serious interest in music. Probably some of your sons or your nieces or nephews. But over here, we still have them, but are far in between. Few, you know, they're fewer than last time. Yeah. No way. No way, Joe. You're in the 70s. I have two good friends in the 70s. One of them is my former boss. He's 73. The one who gave me the this amp, the Mesa Boogie and Les Paul. So he's 73. I have another one who's also in the 70s. It's Rex Go. Rex Go is in the 70s right now. The guy for Air Supply, the one that I interviewed. You know. Yeah, Scooter. Yeah, I know. I need to talk to him. Oh, really? I have to ask the youth there. You know, I don't trust you. You're old. I need to ask the youths in the States, just to find out from the horse's mouth whether they're still interested in music. I think most of them are, you know. I don't know. I don't live in the States, so I don't know. Michael MC, it was interesting to see the Grover Jackson too. Grover closed shop years ago when he started building Freeman's, I believe. Oh, really? Ah, I didn't know that. Great guitars. So far I tried two of them. I'm thinking of trying the other one with the Floyd Rose. You know, I think it plays about the same, except with the Floyd Rose. I mean, it will sound the same. It's a super strat after all. And yeah. Clyde Viegas, hi John. Which is your favorite guitar? I have a couple. You know, I have a couple. I like both of my Japan Fender Strats, the contemporary as well as the 50s traditional. I love both of them to death. I really love them. I love my G&L Blues Boy. I love my Schecter Dick Johnston. I love my Jack Fowler too. I love my PRS Custom 22 and my McCarthy 594. See, there's this whole lot of guitars that I love, so it's not really fair. I love my Tokai ES3 something 335. You know, it's 335ish. I love that guitar a lot too. I kind of fallen out with my my Comanche because I haven't used it for a long time. So I may try to get back into it. You know, and I love my Les Pauls, of course. Both my Les Pauls. So too many, too many. Mississippi Blues. I think God will tell, don't stop doing what you love. I don't know. I mean, God has his own interpretation on what he wants me to do. I found that out a long time ago. You know, at one time I thought he wanted me to go full time into ministry because I already heard the words full time. And I thought, hey, you know, maybe it's time for me to go into ministry, go to Bible school, be a full fledged pastor, and everything. But it wasn't so. It wasn't so. What he meant by full time is like full time, like, you know, talk about him full time, be passionate about him full time, love people full time, you know, and that's what he was planning for me. Like, you know, he wanted me to do this, and I was thinking on my own terms, you know. So we tend to do that when God tells us something, like God tells us A, and we were thinking like K, L, M, O, P, and all the way to Z. We'll think of a whole lot of other stuff when all he wanted us to do was just A, you know. And yeah, so nowadays I I kind of lay back, you know, I'm not jumping to conclusions. Nowadays I think he would want me to kind of like approach him and tell him what I want, and then he would tell me how he wants me to go ahead, or not to go ahead, and how he wants me, you know, in which fashion would I have to go. So the YouTube channel is this YouTube channel, like I said, is a perfect example. I wanted to do a YouTube channel to talk about him, basically to boast about him, but I see it as something that would be a bit too hardcore for a lot of people, and which was demonstrated to me really vividly when I start, doing a video about my depression and my relationship with God. And I get guys who text me, some of them violently and some of them really abusively, and I'm going like, whoa! So this thing is real, you know. This anti-God sentiment are real. You know, there are people out there who really actually hates God. So I was kind of taken aback by that, but I have no qualms to them. I mean, they were nice to me before I divulged to them of who I am as a Christian. So I didn't have no qualms about that. And if they can't take it, I just tell them, like, you know, if you cannot stay in, you know, in this channel, I understand. You know, feel free to leave, because I can't ask you to stay. Right? It's the same thing. I can't ask you to stay, and you can't ask me not to believe in my God. So I love my God, and He will always be my God. Nothing would change that. So I stick to the cause of action, but at the same time, I want to reach out to people, but not in the hardcore way, like, you know. So I still do what I'm supposed to do, you know, playing and songs and videos and whatever, and I think that's fine, you know. In times like this, when I'm having like live stream, I can talk to you guys, you know, and we can have a dialogue about your faith as opposed to my faith and what goes on around the world. So I think that's a good outlet, you know, for me, right? Yeah. Anyway, Luke. Oh yes, my Luke. I forgot about my Luke. Yes, Orin. Thank you, dear boy. I forgot about my Luke. Yes, another one of my favorite guitarists is my Music Man Ernie Ball Luke, which I love. Totally love. Yeah. Mississippi Blues. I just ordered a Vola Vat Wu from Japan. No, I would love to. It sounds really exotic. Nice. Thank you, Scooter. I'm glad to have a brother like you who encourages me time after time. Clyde Viegas. Actually, I love your YouTube channel because it's so wholesome and you speak about God and guitar both at the same time. Well, let's be straight. I'm an adult, so I don't think we can be really 100% wholesome as we want to be. Sometimes we'll crack some adult jokes, but I try not to be vulgar. there is a lot of guitarists who love God, love their peers, love their enemies. Yeah, I know, you know. I've been through a whole lot of stuff. You know, my relationship with God was forged on pain, basically forged on betrayal, forged on disappointment, and I guess it's God teaching me. It's just Him teaching me not to take it too hard. Like people will always disappoint you. The book of Psalms says, "Trust not in the king's horses or the king's chariots or the king's men, but trust in the Lord God Almighty Himself." And I guess what it's trying to tell me is that men, they will always be men. They will always be like who they are because men are fickle. And they're fallible, but He, the Almighty, is not fallible at all. So I'd rather trust in something that's not fallible than trust in someone who is fallible. You know. Yes to that. Amen to that, Ben. In my line of work, when we are exposed to like thousands or maybe millions of people when we do our work, especially if you're a songwriter or if you're some kind of artist or anything like that, you get exposed to all this fame and spotlights and everything. I think a lot of us would struggle with that because some of us would get really cocky, especially when we're really young. And if you find like successes in a young age, some of us just couldn't handle it, just couldn't cut it, and they'll start to show arrogance and whatever, and I don't know. I think it's basically down to your basic character, your basic being, and who you hold dear in your life. I get guys who are super arrogant, like they like really a pain, and all they talk about is themselves. Just every conversation is about them. It has to be about them, or else you just walk off and they'll just be disinterested and they're just being an ass, literally. So I get guys like that, and I look at them and I'm going like, I pity them because number one, they won't have good friends. They have all the yes men around them. Sound familiar, right? Yeah, they have all the guys around them who will just say yes because you're popular. Yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. Bananas grow on the ground. Yeah. Durians grow on the tree, which is correct. Yeah, durian does grow on the tree. So they'll tend to agree just because they want to get favor from you and whatever. And as this go along, the hit starts getting bigger and they're nasty to people. I've seen it firsthand. And I told myself back then when I first started playing in the clubs, and I met some American musicians, really fine American musicians, some fine British musicians, and some fine Australian musicians. And I look at them, and they're good looking, they play well, they sing well, they're incredible musicians, and yet as humble as a humble pie can be. And I'm going like, whoa, you're so good and yet you're so humble. What's the catch here? I'll tell you why I asked myself that. And I'm going like, so I understand now why you're so humble, because you got nothing else to prove. Those guys that are arrogant, those guys that think that that we should worship the ground that they walk on, they have something to prove. They will always have something to prove. They always have to prove that they are better, bigger, more good looking, more talented. They always have this to prove. Whereas the guys that are on the top of the game, they don't have anything to prove. They know. They just know that they are contented. That's what Paul says. They are contented with what they have. And they rest easy. So their liaising with people, their relationship with people is so easygoing that everybody just loves them for who they are, because they are just humble. I love Olivia Newton-John, and my heart broke when I found out that she passed away. She was a a personality that I grew up with. Basically, I grew up listening to her songs. I grew up falling in love with her, and every report I heard about her from other people, I have a friend who actually played with her in Hong Kong. Everyone says that she's a nice person, that she's as down to earth as can be, and yet there she is, this gargantuan vocalist who has like 3, maybe 4 octaves, who sings beautifully, who looks beautiful, and such a beautiful character in and out. So that's something that that boggles the mind. That how can someone be so good and yet be so humble, right? So I've been there. I've done through. I've seen things. I've seen people. Lots of people like that. After a while, I'll go like, okay, so if you're arrogant, okay, stay far away from me. I'm not gonna be in touch with you. So I don't have time for you. I literally do not have time for you, because you have something to prove to me, and I don't need you to prove anything to me, because I want to accept you as who you are, face value. You don't have to prove something to me that you are who you might not be. So something to keep in mind. Now, something I want to share with you guys, which I seldom share with people. I think it's right up your alley, Orion. It's a bit spooky, but it's not really that spooky. Okay, so I was playing the clubs back in the 80s, and in the 80s we have these rock clubs, and we'll be doing all sorts of acrobatics on stage and everything, and we'll be like learning the solos by heart, and we have great songs there, like from Night Rangers. Remember Night Rangers? Journey, Toto, Bad Company. So we were playing all this stuff, and I guess I was really kind of good at that time. I was, yeah. I mean, I was okay. I'm not like really good, but I was okay. And then people start recognizing who I am, and they call out to me. And sometimes I don't even know who they am, and I just go, "Oh, hi!" But in the back of me, I don't know who that guy is. But I just thought it'd be polite to say hi back, if they call out to me when I'm in a shopping center or somewhere else, and they go like, "Hey, hi, John." Say, "Hey, hi, hey, great playing last night." I say, "Yeah, thanks." But I don't know who they are, But I knew that that I'm getting the recognition, And one night, it was a packed night. The club was filled with people, right? And the guys were cheering for the band because we had a kick-ass night that night. Basically, we play our asses out. Sorry, we play our hearts out, and then I hear this voice. Okay, and this is a true thing. I hear this voice, and this voice says, "Bow down to me." And this conversation was in my head when I'm doing a solo. I think I'm doing a song by Gary Moore or something like that. I can't remember. Or did it happen after the set? I forgot. But I remember distinctly, I hear this voice, "Bow down to me, and I will give you everything." And I think I did answer him, like, answer the voice, like, what do you mean by everything? And says, if you want fame, you have fame. You want women, whatever, money, fortune, you can have everything. Just bow down to me. And at that time, I guess this whole recognition thing, like, people recognizing you, and you think that you're really good. So I was young then, like I said, we were all young before, and I had that pride in me too, like, the so-called arrogance in me. And I answered the voice. I said, "Why should I bow down to you? I'm already there, so I don't need to worship you." It's so arrogant, right? And I guess the voice was pretty happy to hear that, because I'm on my way to hell, and that was the last time I heard that voice, and I never heard it since, and it was years after, like maybe 2-3 years after that, I decided, no, I should not be arrogant. I should be as humble as these foreign musicians that I've met. I met arrogant musicians, foreign ones too, but I met really cool brothers from the Bronx, from Philadelphia. Those guys were coming with a soul band and synchronized dance steps and stuff, and guys from Hawaii, musicians from Hawaii, musicians from London, from Birmingham, musicians from Australia, from Perth, or from Melbourne. Great musicians, and they're all really humble. And that's what changed my mind a couple of years later. So, yeah, that's what I went through. And then when I became a Christian, when I gave my life to Christ, I was already down there. I mean, I was already like, um, I already understood that arrogance is not the way to go. So it was easy in a way for me to know that Christ is a uh, humble God. God is who's humble, and it's humbling to see Christ die on the cross for all of us. And I could not reconcile that for the longest time. Yeah, you know, if you sit down and realize that the Son of God, the King of Heaven Himself, was crucified for you, was crucified for me. I and it took me a long while to reconcile that. Like talk about humility. That's the ultimate humility. And He was humiliated. He was stripped. He was tortured. He was beaten for me and for you. And for me, all sense of arrogance and whatever you think you need to prove goes out the window by the grace of God. Yeah. Hey, hi, Monty. Good of you to drop by. Hey, Ecuador. Lunch break. Yes, I still have my Harley Bentons. Yeah. So I'm gonna ask you guys a question. Like, I know some of you are like Catholics, right? And some of you are like the normal Christians. Whether you guys are charismatics or not, or um, what do you think about Christ on the cross? Like, in the crucifix. Like, the Catholics will have this crucifix with Christ on the cross. What do you think about it? If you're not Catholic. Bear, I'm coming over during Thanksgiving, so I'll be heading up to Sacramento for Thanksgiving. Yeah, I'm doing a show there in the Hard Rock Cafe. Well, at least that's what the plan is. So, um, yeah. So yeah, we probably will have another additional show, but that's not confirmed yet, and that will be in L.A. in Los Angeles. It's okay. Oh, oh yeah. Scooter, I don't remember you telling me. Are you a Catholic or are you a Protestant? What are you? I'm going to show you something. I'm going to share you something. Okay, so I'm just going to read out what you guys have shared. So my question is, what do you think about the crucifix and the crucifix with Christ on the cross? Scooter says it reminds him of the supreme sacrifice he did for me. Christ on the cross, Bamber, Christ on the cross, his death is our salvation. We are all made to live an eternal life. Quality of life is what is at stake. Amen to that. There is God's people in all denomination. I think God helped me through my sorrow when I lost my father to the COVID. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Jodix. Myself, I'm a Protestant. I'm a follower of Christ. We're all God's children. Okay, great. So, why am I telling you? I'm asking you all this is because when I was a young Christian, a really young Christian, I was from the what you call that, the charismatic sides. So we were taught back then that that we shouldn't put Christ on the cross. That the Christ should to represent the fact that after the fact that Christ is risen from death 3 days later. So you shouldn't have Christ still hanging on that cross, and they were really against it, So these teachings that I go to, some of the meetings that I go to, they were all, some of them were talking really ferociously about all these things. And I went to Bible school, and some of the teachers taught the same thing. Not all of them, only in passing, but not in the legitimate classes. Like we shouldn't be hanging Christ on the cross again, and all that stuff. And I didn't think too much about it until one day when I went to Italy, and I went to Venice, right? So we were there on a mission trip. We were teaching the churches, the Chinese churches in Italy. Go figure. So we had some time off, and we took a drive down to Padova, which is very near Venice, and we went to this church. I believe the church is called Basilica di Santa Giustina at Padua, the tomb of Luke, right? So that's where Luke was supposedly buried. And I saw this cross on the doorway of the church. This articulate, very detailed sculpture of Christ on the cross. When I went in, this was what struck me. I just couldn't keep my eyes off this sculpture, this crucifix. And I stood right in front of it, and I started weeping. Just how powerful that image was. I just weep. I just wept. I just wept my heart out. And I had a good brother named Steve, who was with me, and he came over and hugged me. And no words were exchanged, and he was weeping too. And to see the King of Heaven, Prince of Prince, King of all kings, hung there for me, hung there for our sins. That was something that I couldn't come to terms with for the longest time. Yeah. So I just thought I'd share this with you because this was one of my experiences when I went to Italy. Now, of course, Italy has its own fair share of stuff. Like, you go out to the Vatican City, you see all the pomp, all that gold and all the regality and stuff like that. Those are things that, we can talk all day about it. But I think the fact remains that there's certain aspects of the Catholic Church that brings me peace, especially when I step into a Catholic church. I actually felt peace. The churches today have too much glitz for my comfort. I shouldn't be talking about this, but I think I'm not among strangers. I'm among friends. So I can tell you right now that modern church to me doesn't hold anything to me. It doesn't give me anything. All I see are just glitz. Sometimes in certain churches you even have smoke machines. incredible lightings, incredible sound system, and stuff like that. Camera work, the musicians and whatever, Hillsong, a la cut, a la Hillsong, and the Bethel Church videos that you've seen. And for me, that's a turn off for me. I don't believe I want to go there for entertainment. I don't believe I want to go there to be entertained or to entertain anyone, because I was in the worship team, and I don't feel comfortable with cameras in church shooting me. I don't mind that when I'm in a secular concert. I'm digging it, as if I'm playing on stage and someone goes straight out to me when I'm doing a solo. Fine, I'm not used to it. I don't like it, but hey, that's show business. But in church, yeah, that is a real turn off for me. And I don't know. I guess I'm getting older, and I need to reconcile this with God. I need to talk to God about this. I don't know about you guys, So I'm just sharing what I think. What do you guys think? You're right, Scooter. He owns you. He owns me. Right? My wife would disagree with you, Richard. You definitely would disagree with you. Chinese, there's a word called, there's a saying, 老欢店, meaning you old fool. So, I don't know.
Charging.
But then what about online church? Like, if there would be no camera, no, that's different. We're not talking about the online services and all that. We're not talking about that at all, because that's a necessity. I'm talking about like a physical church. Like, you've been to a physical church before COVID, and you've seen all these things happening, even though there's no online services provided. That's what I'm talking about. David, I play on a worship team. I think our job is to be the background music for someone's worship experience. We're not putting on a concert. It's not about. Amen to that. In Sweden, we have many old churches. When I take day trips with my motorcycle, I used to stop and take pictures of the old building in the past. Cool. You know what you should do? You should just go in, Jodix, and sit down. Just sit down and absorb, the atmosphere, and feel the quietness of God's presence. Okay, so this is something right up Oren's interest. I know. All right. Yeah. So yeah, I've seen some of these old churches when I was in London. I'm sure there are a lot of old churches in Germany too. Amazing architecture. Correct. You're right, my Georgify. And it's sad to say that when I was in London, when I went to some of these old churches, there are no more churches. They're actually a club at night. They're selling alcohol in the night, and some of them have become discotheques. So it's a sad state of affair. But what I'm trying to share with you is when I was doing a recording, album production in Hong Kong many years ago. We're talking about mid 90s or late 90s, maybe about 97. I stayed there for almost a month because we were doing a production, an album production for my brother Eric, and I was a producer. So the room that I was staying in Nathan Road in Tsim Sha Tsui, which is in Hong Kong, I walked to the studio, because it's quite nearby, and I purposely liked that hotel because I've stayed there many times. So I stayed in that hotel, and I found out that the hotel room was actually haunted. I started hearing noises, and I can feel a presence in the room, and this spooked me out. And I wasn't a Christian then. Like I said, I was from a Catholic school, and I wasn't baptized then. So these things was happening, and I didn't get enough sleep. I wasn't having quality sleep. I try to get out every night, like go out with my friends, and yeah, just to avoid coming back too early to the room. One day when I was heading to the studio, and then I was done recording for the day, and I was walking back. It was like about 7 p.m. I guess 6 p.m., 7 p.m. in the evening, and I passed by this old Portuguese Catholic church, an old Portuguese Catholic church, along the way to the hotel. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe I should just go in and just sit down, because I've been to churches before, Catholic churches, because like I said, I was from a Catholic school. And I always loved the atmosphere in the Catholic church. So I went into this old church, and the moment I step in, I remember the old ritual, old custom, dipping my hand, and doing the sign of the cross and sitting down and one of the hours. I just felt this incredible peace that I don't know how to describe it. It just descended on me, and I just felt at peace. And before that, my heart was like worrying about. I was stressed out. Basically, I was stressed out about the album production. I was stressed out about this outcome. I was stressed out about how the public will perceive it, because I had a couple of hit albums before that when I'm producing, and the next one was a stressful one, because you gotta keep up with the numbers. So all this was magnified by the fact that I wasn't getting enough sleep in my room. And I sat there for the longest time, and I just felt at peace. And I got up, I went out to my room, I packed all my stuff, and I went down to the main counter, the hotel receptionist, and I says, I need to change my room in Cantonese. And the receptionist was so funny. She says, "Oh, you want to change your room? Oh, why?" And then I just blurt it out to her point blank. I said, because it's haunted. I say in Cantonese, I say, "Yao guai lo." And she go like, and she didn't even argue with me. She go like, "Okay, sir," immediately. And I changed my room. So that proves to the fact that she knew that the room was haunted. And well, I changed room, and I got my sleep after that. So it was like about a week in that I finally decided to change the room after going to the church. something funny. Yeah. And for me, that experience of going to the church and sitting down there and experiencing the peace of God, is something that stayed with me until today. Oh, that's great, Logify. I love the inside of the Byzantine Orthodox churches. Yeah. Clyde Vegas. Oh, okay, I understood. I love the music, but I feel it's too flashy these days. White Falcons, massive pedal boards. Not to mention the Gretsch. Yeah, the White Falcons. And at one time, it was Les Paul's hung really low. And then the PRS thing came in. Everybody was having a PRS. David Belcher, the architecture of some of the churches in Europe is amazing. I believe that. Jodix love Germany, many fantastic buildings, and this a place that I really love to go, that I really wanted to go for the longest time. Germany, Cool tunes, Maggie's. Hello, John. I'm late to the party, but cheers. Hey, welcome to the party. Which hotel is that? Must avoid. Are you planning to go to Hong Kong soon? I'm not going to tell you. No, don't get me wrong. The hotel is a fine hotel. It's not a 5-star hotel, but it's probably around 4. It's a great hotel, great service, great food. You have a good restaurant there. I've stayed there many times, many times. Okay, so oh wow, it's 2:25. Okay, so I can stick around with you guys for a while more, but you guys have any more questions that you're gonna ask of me? Bring it on. Bring on the questions. And you know what? I was so excited in heading up to Sacramento for the Thanksgiving show, and I know I've been to the States during Thanksgiving. I know it gets pretty cold at times, especially in Tucson. So I know Barry will agree with me. So I bought me a brand new jacket. You know, I haven't gone shopping for a jacket for the longest time, especially the past 2.5 years. So yeah, I got me a nice jacket, something that actually fit me, not too big for me. In case you notice, I have a small body size. So yeah, I can't wait to try on the jacket. What? And I bought a sweater too, a nice looking sweater from Superdry. Clyde Vegas, could you let me know if there's a guitar which can come close to the Gretsch sound, because Gretsch is kind of expensive. There are a couple. Look at Harley Benton. Harley Benton has some nice Gretsch clones. If you see it that way. Yeah, they have a 12 string. I think I reviewed that 12 string before, and they have a 6 string model too. And I think it came in with a Filtertron pickups too. Yeah, something to look at. The other one, surprisingly, I think a good alternative would be the PRS SE hollow body, right? You have the SE hollow body, or you have the standard hollow, which I just reviewed. I just did a review of that, and that's a nice guitar for church use. I mean, if you want to kind of more or less duplicate the sound of a Gretsch, so yeah, I think that is a close fit. Although they're using their 5815s, you know, they're not really like the Filtertrons, but they can get by depending on what effects you're using. It has an airy sound to it. You know, my favorite, of course, would be the core model, the hollow body McCarthy 594. I think that is a lovely guitar. It's expensive, you know, it's a core model after all. But this standard, this SE standard hollow body, what, it's about 1,002 sing, 1,003. It's really affordable, so something to look at. Ecuador, John, I want to buy two Harley Benton Strat and Telecaster, but I don't want the feeling of a Squire. I like chunky necks. Can you Yes, of course. You can get the ST62. The ST62 is from Harley Benton. The Strats, yeah, they have kind of like a D shape girth to your neck. You know, it's quite comfortable. You know, it's not too thin. For Tally, you can try the TE70, which is quite nice. Not slim at all. It's really nice. You know, the one with the black paisley. Unless you're not digging the black paisley, then it's too bad. But that's the one that I really like the neck. You know, it's nice. If you want a chunky neck, you go for that standard that I just reviewed, the PRS SE hollow body. It's got a chunky neck and just a nice size. You know, I like that neck a lot. No worries, Clyde. All right. That's a long lunch break. Hmm. That's pretty decent pricing. $600 US for a Gretsch. Or you can always look at Reverb. You know, sometimes they have like, you know, pre-loved Gretsch guitars for sale, right? Okay, so there's another thing that I want to tell you guys is that because of the war in Ukraine and the market situation around the world, prices of guitars will be increased significantly. Come, in fact, even starting from now, I've seen increase in price because of transportation and delivery and stuff like that. You know, so yeah, so prepare for it. If you're gonna buy guitars, you know, if you're gonna get like guitars, the higher price ones that you've been aiming for, maybe now is the time to pull the trigger and not wait too long, because as the war escalates, as the war continues, you know, as the market situation deteriorates, you know, you're gonna have a huge increase later on. So either that or don't buy it. Don't buy any guitars for now, and just save your money and prepare for something else. You know, who knows? Who knows what the future brings? Only God knows. Only Christ knows. But if you need to get a guitar, now will be a good time before it's too late. Yes. Whoa, that's a nice one. That's a nice guitar, Bear. I didn't know you have a John Scofield. Hi, David. I'm well. How are you? Cool tunes. Not a question. Just want to say thanks for bringing your great content to the guitar community. Oh, you're most welcome. Whoa. Nick Johnston. How are you? Good. Are you coming over to Singapore soon? Because the real Nick Johnston is coming to Singapore come November. There you go. That's a good advice from Bear. Save your money. So if there's no need to buy a guitar, then don't buy it. You know, save it. But like I said, unless you are saving up for that guitar of yours, your dream guitar, you know, you might want to think about doing it now before it gets too late, and then, you know, prices are going to go up, skyrocketing up. It's crazy. Hold on tight. Cool tunes. John, the search for a P90 Les Paul style. Would you say the Edwards guitar at 1100 USD would be a good option for me? That would be, yeah, 1,005 Canadian, or pay 2,000 in Gibson. Hi, Chris. How are you? You know what? I think that if you are looking for, okay, nowadays when you buy a guitar, you know, well, for me, after all, you know, if I want to spend my hard-earned cash on a guitar, I want to think about number one, the resale value. You know, if I buy this guitar and then after 2 months or after 3 months of playing, decide to get rid of the guitar, when I sell it, would I get a good resale value out of it? That's scenario number one. Now, scenario number two. Scenario number two is when you really love the guitar. You get me? When you like, you know, I did a video about falling in love with a guitar, and if you really love the guitar and you really love playing it, then go out and buy it, and don't think about the resale value. After all, it's not important. So these are just two scenarios that you have to go through your head. Now, in terms of your situation, you, Cool Tunes, I'm talking about you. You will have to decide whether you want to pay that amount of money for a Gibson or this amount of money for Edwards, which I tell you is worth every penny, because it's a well-made guitar. You know, even though it has Paul Ferro for its fretboard instead of a rosewood, but you can search for one that has a rosewood fretboard. Other than that, the workmanship, the sound, is impeccable. It's great. It's a great guitar to own, and it comes at a fraction of a cost from a real Gibson. You're talking about a Gold Top with a P90, yeah, you know. So it's something to think about. I would ask you to buy Atwood, but then again, it depends on whether are you really in love with that guitar, or do you think you want to wait until or wait for an opportunity for you to play and get your hands on. My experiences with Edward guitars has always been wunderbar, you know, incredible. I love playing on Edwards guitar, especially the Les Paul models, and I think they're really well made guitars and worth every single cent, right? Clyde Viegas, do you think there is still a future for tube amps? Also now because of the war happening, uh, there will always be a place for tube amps because there will always be tube amps aficionado around in the world, guys who won't play anything less than a tube amp. So it will always be there. But there is this shift in technology that happens like a couple of decades ago, right? I'm talking about 20 years ago, where people were like not using any more tube amps and they have decided to go for multi effects like I did. You know, I'm one of those culprits that forsaken amps altogether, whether they're JFET transistors or tube. You know, I just have my Helix and I'm happy with it. So there are guys who are doing that. So I don't think tube amps are going to die out anytime. I think there is still a market for it, you know, just like vinyl records, you know. What is that? Nick Johnson. What do you mean the real Nick Johnson? I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. So you're the real Nick Johnson, the older Nick Johnson. Great to have you with us, Nick. David K, what do you think? What do you think about Eastman guitars? You know, I've been hearing great things and tempted to get a double cut single P90. They do. It's a Lola P90. Thinking of putting. I have no idea, so I can't help you, David. I haven't played on an Eastman guitar seriously. You know. Yeah, Scooter will know more. Eastwood just brought out a special with two P90 suite guitar. Orin Quest, do I have a favorite pedal for reverb? No. I'm a studio guy. You know, I was a studio engineer for a long time, and there are certain reverbs that I would use for my guitars. There are certain reverbs that I would use for my vocals or anybody's vocals. So I have like a certain preference to, in terms of reverb, for every instrument. Like, you know, if it's saxophone, erhu, a flute, and I have my own preference of what reverbs. And sometimes if I don't have any particular preferences, I'll scroll through the reverbs. So for me to have a reverb pedal, a favorite reverb pedal, no, I don't have one. I just use what is in my Helix, and most of the time I gravitate to is a chamber reverb or a plate reverb. You know, those are the ones that I would gravitate to. And of course, I would tweak around with the decay time and the pre-delay and stuff like that. Q-Tunes, also, would you say the Tokai and the Edwards are equal? Oh yes, definitely. Tokai has been around, I think, maybe longer than Edwards. I don't know, maybe around the same time. But both of them have the same trademark Japanese workmanship. Incredible. C Jazz, hey, hi. S Jazz, right? Australia. I'm glad you made this video about the PRS SC Hollowbot. That's in my wish list. Your wish list. In your wish list. Yes, I'm happy. I'm happy that you're glad. I know there'll be people around who would like to go for the standard. For me, I mean, I actually, after I played the S2 standard, the one with the bare wood kind of finish, I really love it, you know. And I don't know. I seriously don't know. Maybe sometime in the future. I don't know. Anyway, Jodix, what do you know about the guitar brand Stag? Never heard of them. Never heard of them. Sorry, Jodix. It's probably a European brand, is it? I think so. It should be, right? Scooter, I like Paul Farrow. Yeah, Paul Farrow is fine with me. It's just sometimes on a certain guitar, like for example Les Paul, I'll prefer to have rosewood. rather than Paul Farrell, which I find is a bit too bright for my liking. I like the darker woods. Even the ebony would look fine on the Les Paul, but that's just me. SJS, hopefully you may find any Eastman guitar in Singapore to try and demo. They are great. Yeah, I'm sure they are, but so far no luck here. Cool tunes make. I'm in Canada. It wouldn't be easy to find one to try. We just don't sell them here. Okay. So like what I told you, I mean, if you're budget conscious, go for the Edwards. Yeah, if you're budget conscious, go for that. You will not regret it because the workmanship is really good. Unless you get your hands on a lemon, which might happen during shipment or whatever. But so far, all the Edwards that I tried, they're all really, really good guitars. My orange digital M is all I need. Yep. Isan Dan, Isan Di and San. Find it hard to pronounce it, I'm sorry. You're Sandy, okay, I'll call you Sandy, from Indonesia. I just saw your video about PRS SE Hollow. Can I ask you about hollow guitars between PRS Hollow and Aria Pro Jazz Hollow? Which one is better? Thanks. I think they are about the same in terms of sound. Yeah. In terms of looks and finishes, of course, the PRS has brighter finish, but the Aria Pro has its own distinct character to it because it's kind of like a matte finish, like a wood kind of thing, which I really like. That's the reason why I reviewed that guitar. Yeah, both of them are on par, so it's really up to you. And I think the PRS costs a little bit more than the Aria Pro. Yeah. Bear, most pros will always want tube amps. Not necessarily. There are a lot of pros out there who will play on a Roland JC120, which is a transistor amp. There are a lot of guys who doesn't play tube amps, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, you're probably right. Most of them, yeah. Q tunes me. I honestly think I'm convinced I'll bite the bullet on the Edwards Goldtop P90. Go for it, man. You know what I really like about the Edwards? Not the Goldtop P90. I really like the humbucker, the one with the humbucker, because they really sound cool. They really sound warm and nice. Yeah. Anyway, I have 2 Les Pauls. I don't need a Les Paul. Yeah. All right. Bear Metallica and Megadeth use a model amp. See, there you go. All right, Richard, you take care. I love the Maria. The difference in the Tokai Goldtop P90 that I've seen, they don't have the Seymour Duncan pickups, which you say that's not a deal breaker. Well, pickups, they are subjective. If the pickups in the Tokai sound good, because the ones on my Tokai sounded really good, so there was no need for me to swap them out, at all. And even if they don't sound good, you can just save a little bit more and change the pickups that you like. Benjamin, off topic. I just listened to your cover of my right. Oh, thank you so much. That was done quite long ago, about 2 years ago. Bear, my Logify, yes they do. These bands use a lot of amps, but the models are excellent with today's tech. Has Miss Jeanette got the PRS Vela? I'm looking forward to watching your demo. I'm not sure about what she ordered. She actually gave me a list not too long ago. I remember seeing the studio because I requested for a studio. I'm not sure about a Vela. Maybe she did order it. I don't know. Yeah, there was a delay, so the guitars were like delayed. I just hope I have the time to review them because, like I said, I'm gonna have a show coming up and I have rehearsals and stuff like that. I just hope that I get to review them before they're sold, But Cool Tunes, are you saying you like the humbuckers and not the P90s? No, I'm not saying that. I mean, I love both pickups, but if I were to get a Les Paul looking guitar, especially a Goldtop, I would rather have it with humbuckers, with covered humbuckers. Again, it's up to you because there is still a market for a Goldtop with P90s. I know about that, and I play on that as that guitar, and I love it too. No, don't get me wrong. It's my own personal taste, not yours. So stick to your guns. If you want that P90, go for it. Yeah, don't let me go changing your mind. All right. T Tabor uses orange transistor amps. Yeah, that's right. That's it. Not all of them will use tube amps. This is a transistor amp. It sounded so good. Right. Do I stack reverbs in? No, I try not to, except in certain situation where I need a special kind of reverb, like the shimmering effects and stuff like that. So I would have that as the last bit, but I'll still have my go-to reverb and then add that as an effect. Yeah. So if you listen to the latest video that I just did with the PRS standard hollow body, the intro was done with 2 reverbs. So listen to it, the intro, the 4-bar intro, and right after that I cut off the additional reverb, and all you're hearing is a normal reverb. So yeah. Bring it in. You got any more questions? Bring it in. I have 15 minutes more. I'm gonna leave at 3. My Logify AC/DC brings 62 amp hits to stadium concerts, but they might not know about modding amps yet. Code JavaScript with Hassan. Do I teach? Yes, I do. What? Walk along. I picked up a Harley Benton T62, okay, in black, and the SC550 about a week ago, based on your reviews, along with a couple of, wow, how many do you buy? The SC550 is immaculate. The Tele needs a new port. Yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes you get really great components. Sometimes you get a cheap component, but doesn't give you any problem. That's cool. Sometimes you get a faulty component. As I watch on Premier Guitar. Sadly, PRS S2 are rare and very expensive in Australia. SE are easy to find. Still, they are like 30%, 40% more expensive than SG. By the way, had you played a private stock? No. Good heavens, no. I've not attained that level of wealth to acquire a private stock. No, I have not even played on a private stock guitar. Q tunes me. Laughing out loud. No, I just never had a P90, so I figured it would be a change for me. But maybe since you are more with humbuckers, then you could be my other options. No. If you really gotta go for a P90, go for the P90, because you can always own 2 Gold Tops. Who knows, right? Who knows? Rest of the T62 is, I believe so. Yeah, they're great guitars. Harley Bentons the guitars are getting better and better. As the years go by, the workmanship and everything is getting better. Oh, thank you, Hassan. Thank you so much. I only teach 1 day in a week, and it's on Sunday. Right now I have my roster is almost full. So yeah, but I'm taking a break, for the next for this coming Sunday and the next Sunday. Orin Quest, have you broken a string during a big solo when you were playing the stadiums? Oh yes, I have, which is quite awkward. Yeah, and kind of embarrassing because I have my guitars are all floating tremolo system, and so if one string goes out, everything goes out. So I have to kind of start to play slide in a way, with my tremolo arm, and that is something that is a bit disconcerting, especially when you're doing a big solo. And that's the reason why I change strings before every show. But to no avail at that time, because I was using 09s, and that's why I hate 09s. I would change a fresh batch of 09s and break them during the show. That's how hot it gets, And you can't imagine the amount of energy that is hitting your guitar neck and strings when you're doing a concert, especially a high energy one. I've done concerts where it was a non-stop thing for 3 hours. right? And there are lots of fast songs, a lot of jumping around, a lot of shredding and stuff like that. And the only time that the guitar had a rest is when we're doing an unplugged segment with my acoustic guitar. But half the time was running up and down the stage. We were sweating like pigs. No offense to pigs, but we were sweating like crazy, and the amount of energy and the amount of adrenaline, and sometimes when you play, you forget your strength, so you're kind of hitting your guitar real hard, and that's what causes a breakage. Nowadays, I'm safer because I'm using 010s, and I still change strings before every show. So yeah, so far, so good. Yeah. There's something that I want to share with you guys, which is kind of freaky. There was one time I was playing, and I think it was my bass string, which is a 11, because you got 9s and 11s, and it broke, and somehow the strings snapped, and that thing went into my fingernails, meaning it kind of like created a sort of a cut, a mini cut into my fingernails, and that was painful because it was lodged in between my fingernails, and I had to stop playing, and the rest of the guys were looking at me, what happened, because I was doing a solo. I couldn't help it. I got to find a way to get it out, and in the dark stage, it was kind of hard to pry out that string from between your fingernails, and it's painful at the same time. So once I got it out, and we didn't have roadies then, so I had to change strings myself, and I had to overcome the pain just by pure adrenaline, change my strings, and continue playing for the subsequent songs in the concert. Yeah, that was, yeah. I know, pigs don't sweat. That's why they roll around in mud. That's a good one. Oh, really? I'm coming over. Cool. Let me know. John, one last question. I have. Do you prefer the humbucker overdrive or the P90 overdrive? I would say to differ or cleans with both of them. Habalohi. Hi. Alright, let me tell you what I think about the P90s and the humbuckers. I would think that you have the single coils, and then you have the humbuckers, and then you have the P90 smack in the middle. So the P90 is a cross between a single coil as well as a humbucker. So it has that fatness, the thickness somewhat of a humbucker, and the top ends of a single coil. And that's what makes the P90 so unique. So definitely so unique by its own nature. Now, it can handle both. It can handle clean at the same time in distortion or overdrive, as you may say. The only drawback is the 60 cycle hum that it draws. So the noise for the 60 cycle hum is very apparent. Probably because of the bigger magnet. I don't know. So you have to consider that too. Humbuckers, no noise at all. You're gonna like have a clean signal when you're playing the hum on a humbucker. And even when you're doing a humbucker with a say you have, well, in terms of a strat, you have single humbucker. Even on the second position, you're not going to get a whole lot of hum. But there's still hum, not a whole lot. And when you switch to humbucker, no hum at all. So that's good if you don't like hum. But if you can live with all the hum, then, if you know how to wisely employ a noise gate and stuff like that, then cool. Then you can get by with it. So it's something to consider. And in terms of clean sound, I would prefer the P90's clean sound as opposed to the humbucker. But then again, I'm a humbucker fan on certain genres of music. For example, I have my Jack Fowler, which consists of 2 Pasadena humbuckers, which has split call, but I seldom use them. I just like the way it sounds, like a Les Paul, 2 humbuckers. I like it, because I know these are humbucker guitars. I would tweak my amps to suit this guitar. So it depends on how you tweak your amps to suit the individual guitars that you have. So if you happen to have a Gold Top with a humbucker, you would tweak your amp to cater to the sound that you're hearing that you want to hear. And if you're tweaking, if you're having a gold top with a P90, then you got to tweak your amp to what sort of sound you want to hear. So it's basically up to you. You know, on stage when you are switching between guitars, like for example a P90 and a humbucker, chances are I will just stay in one setting, and I'll get by with both guitars if I need to. Problem comes when I'm changing from a Stratocaster to a Les Paul, for example. That is something that I don't think I will want to do with a real amp, and that's why I use my Helix Line 6, because I have different patches for different guitars. You know, so that's the reason why I don't use amps on stage. I know what you're asking. I actually don't really bother about how the pickup height. Some of us actually measure, you know, how much of a clearance you should have from the top of the pickup to the bottom of the string. I tend not to do that. I tend to listen and play. So sometimes you would think that the higher the pickup is, the more output you're gonna get. You know, the better the sound is. Not necessarily the case. I learned that a long time ago. Even before Wayne told me about it. I knew it back in the early 90s, or during the time when I was still in the club. I found out that when I especially for single calls, if I lowered the pickup, sometimes it sounded better. You know, it more or less, the magnetic vibration, as the string was vibrating, it gives the string a little bit more headroom to vibrate. So the pickups are like, they sound better in a way, not so overdriven and compressed. You know, so sometimes you have to listen with your ears. Now, guitar players, we cannot depend on sight all the time, and that's why I don't believe in taking measurements. I never did advocate for like taking measurements. I know some of you guys are sticklers for details. I understand that. I'm just not one of them. So like for example, string action, for example, there are guys who take measurements and all that. For me, I don't care. As I play a guitar, if I find it's too low, I'll raise up the action. If it's individual saddles, I raise them up individually. If it's too high, I'll lower them until I find that I can bend comfortably, that I could, maneuver comfortably. Then it's fine. Then the action is fine for me. With a tremolo system, it gets a bit tricky because you need to sort of adjust how much you want to float and what sort of torque that you want to have. Pickup heights is something that you need to understand. So my advice is very simple. Plug in your guitar to a clean setting, clean sound channel, and play. If it sounds alright to you and it doesn't hinder your playing. Now, sometimes if the pickup is too high, as you strum, your string will hit against the pickup. Then as long as it doesn't do that, if it sounds good, fine. And give yourself the opportunity to lower or to raise so that you can tell the difference. If you can't tell the difference, never mind. Just go as on a level that you think is adequate enough, and just leave it. Go to the dirty channel and play distortion or overdrive and see and hear. Pardon me. Hear how does it sound like. Do you want a bit more gain? And if you want a bit more gain, you can always bring it up a little bit. Not too high though, because you don't want the string to hit the top of the pickup. And like I said, it doesn't mean that you have more gain. It doesn't mean that it will sound better. So yeah, try to do this little minute adjustments possible. But bear in mind that if you do not have enough gain, raising up the pickups is not a means to an end. You'll be better off having a booster right after your guitar. Seriously, get the RC booster. It would radically increase your output to your amp without raising your pickups heights and stuff like that. Something to think about. Whew, that's a good question. SGS, I use a noise gate when using single coils and P90s to reduce the hum. I have a Tally 10 line with Seymour Duncan P90 sound. Great, cool. Okay, Laffy, I understand what you mean. It's all about how you feel and like how you sound. Exactly, pickups too high, saturated sound. What you say, John, is the best method. Listen to the guitar. Yeah, yeah. So you learn, you know, be the thing that I tell my students is that, you know, as a guitar player, you have to be really be you have to be really be have to be really sensitive about what you're hearing. A guitar through a different amp will sound different. How resonant it is depend on the guitar itself, not just the pickups, you know. So I like the fact that when I was playing my Strat, my Japanese Fender Contemporary, even though it's like many years, 1985, with the Vince Gill pickups and everything is still resonant, and I like the way it feels, even without me playing a single note, like just the sound of it as I'm touching the strings. And I know it gets a little bit weird, but you know, you tend to know that this guitar is really vocal, like it's waiting to be played, you know. So that's the best guitar, and because I had it all set up, you know, I had my Vega Tram, I have everything set up, and you know, I changed batteries for my EMGs and everything is all done up nicely. So it's an incentive for me to play, you know. It's just waiting for me to play, like my Luke, Ernie Ball Luke, my Music Man Luke, with my EMG pickups, my Luke, Steve Lukather set. It's just waiting for me to play because it's all set up properly. I may need to refret it in the future, but it's just waiting for me to play it. So I like guitars like that. That, you know, like, it's like a woman inviting you, come hug me. You know, it's the sort of feeling. Like, you know, you just want to play it. Yeah. Q-tunes. Then, if you really want to get some serious gain or some hot rails pickups, yeah, that's one way to do it. All right, I think I have to go. Again, before I go, in case you want to buy me a cup of coffee, okay, here I go canvassing again. Or you can hit the super chat, or the super sticker to buy me a cup of coffee if you find that well, this live stream is helpful to you. And if not, then it's okay, doesn't matter. Oh, prego, es Jess, prego. Oh, no worries. Before you guys go, let me just say a short prayer for all y'all. If it's possible, you know. But, you know, it doesn't matter if you gotta go, you could go. But I'm just gonna say a short prayer for everyone here, all right? So I thank you, Jesus. I thank you, Lord, for tonight. I thank you for the many good friends or the many new friends I've met tonight, including the old ones. I thank God for each one of them. Just pray the Lord that you watch over them and their families, that you keep them safe. I also pray the Lord that that you will let them learn more in their quest to make music. I pray the Lord that you will find ways and means for them to improve the guitar playing or music making. And if some of them are your worshippers and some of them are like who loves you, Lord, I just pray they will make music unto you, right? Joyous music unto you. But above all, I just pray that they'll find ways and means to improve themselves and their skills, Lord. Thank you, Jesus, for tonight. Thank you for the things that you allow me to share. And I pray the Lord that in time to come that we might have a chance to sit down and have a meal or have a drink together. Wherever they are, whether they're in Europe, whether they're in Indonesia, or in Germany, or in Tucson, Arizona, or in Michigan, or anywhere else in the world, Lord, I just pray that you watch over them, or even in Australia, Lord. I thank you, Lord. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right, guys. Take care of yourself. See you again. Hopefully. Before I start my rehearsals, that's probably, I don't know. Maybe I'll see you next week. Yeah. All right. Take care. Ciao. Arrivederci. Thank you, Cool Tunes. Thank you so much.